My wife mocked me all week before my 50th birthday. At first, I thought it was just jokes, but by the end of the week, I realized something much worse. She wasn't joking. And the day I turned 50, I didn't argue, I didn't fight, I didn't even say goodbye. I just left. And by noon, Instagram showed me something I wasn't supposed to see. My name is Daniel. I turned 50 last month. And until that week, I thought I had a normal life, a stable marriage, a decent career, a family that respected me. But I was wrong. My wife, Melissa, had always had a sharp sense of humor. At least, that's how I used to describe it. She was the kind of person who would tease you in front of others and then say, "Relax, it's just a joke." For years, I laughed it off because that's what you do when you love someone. You adjust, you ignore, you tell yourself it's not a big deal. But something changed as my 50th birthday approached. It started small. One night at dinner, she looked at me and said, "Wow, 50 already? That's kind of sad." Everyone laughed. I smiled too. But something about the way she said it didn't feel like a joke. The next day, she made another comment. "You should probably start thinking about retirement or, slowing down." Again in front of others. Again followed by a smile. Again I said nothing. By the third day, it got worse. We were at a small gathering with friends, and someone asked what we were planning for my birthday. Melissa laughed and said, "Honestly, I don't think there's much to celebrate. He's basically halfway to being old." This time, I didn't laugh, but everyone else did. That night I lay awake in bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to understand why it bothered me so much. It wasn't just the words, it was the tone, the way she looked at me, like I was less than. The rest of the week followed the same pattern. Little comments, small digs, each one just subtle enough to pass as humor. But together, they built something heavier, something I couldn't ignore anymore. By Friday, I stopped responding, stopped engaging, stopped pretending it was okay. And I think she noticed, because that night she said something that changed everything. We were alone in the kitchen, no friends, no audience, just us. She looked at me and said, "You've really become boring, you know that?" I didn't say anything. She continued, "You don't take risks, you don't stand out. You're just average." Average. That word hit harder than anything else, because suddenly, all those jokes made sense. They weren't jokes. They were how she really felt. I nodded, walked past her, and went upstairs. That night, I didn't sleep, not because I was angry, but because I was clear. For the first time in years, I saw things exactly as they were. The next morning was my birthday, half a century, a milestone. Melissa had planned a small brunch. Friends were coming over. Decorations were up. Everything looked normal. But inside, something had already changed. I got dressed quietly, packed a small bag. Nothing dramatic, just essentials. Before leaving, I looked around the house, 15 years of memories, and somehow, none of them felt real anymore. I didn't leave a note, didn't send a message, didn't make a scene. I just walked out. By the time the guests arrived, I was already gone. My phone started buzzing around 10 a.m. Missed calls, messages. "Where are you? Is this a joke? Daniel, answer your phone." I didn't respond. Instead, I drove. No destination, no plan, just distance. Around noon, I stopped at a gas station, grabbed a coffee, and for the first time that day, I checked my phone. That's when I saw it. Instagram. Melissa had posted a story, a picture of the brunch setup, decorations, cake, guests, and a caption, "Guess the birthday boy decided to disappear." There were laughing emojis, comments, people joking about it, but that's not what caught my attention. It was the next story, a video. Melissa sitting at the table, laughing, talking to someone off camera. And then she said something that made everything stop. "Well, honestly, it's not like he was the exciting one anyway." Laughter. And then, "I've been bored for years." That was it. No hesitation, no guilt, no second thought, just the truth. I stared at the screen, not shocked, not even hurt, just certain, because in that moment, I realized something important. I hadn't lost anything. I had finally seen what was already gone. I put my phone down, finished my coffee, and got back in the car. But this time, I wasn't driving away. I was moving forward. 3 weeks later, I signed the papers. No drama, no arguments, no long conversations, just clarity. Melissa tried to reach out, at first confused, then defensive, then apologetic. But it was too late, because the moment she thought I wasn't watching, she showed me exactly who she was. And I believed her. Now, I'm 50, and for the first time in years, I feel free. Not because everything is perfect, but because I'm no longer pretending. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is walk away without a word and let them reveal the truth on their own.